Hello, happy Monday. Welcome back to another Bevman video. I've actually been enjoying making these little second channel videos a lot. The hand planer video is basically done. It's just at that spot where all the voiceover music, all the cuts are done. I just need those final beauty shots and the last shots of it nicely planing something. I resharpened it today, way better, restained. Everything's looking absolutely beautiful, and the video is 95% done. Today's topic, I'm looking back at, I've been looking back at the last 2 years of these daily videos that I did and just kind of seeing what I was talking about 1 year ago today or 2 years ago today. And 2 years ago today was kind of a turning point for me. It was like a big burnout episode. I was not feeling well. I'd been overworking myself to the point that I got sick. I'm feeling off today. I think I'm getting sick. And when I get sick, I get like down because, as I've said in many episodes, my mood is based heavily on my productivity. Not a great day for me 2 years ago. A big struggle of mine over the last 5 to 8 years that I've been making things incessantly is managing perfectionism and learning when good enough is good enough and learning when I'm overworking myself, which is probably going to be a lifelong learning experience. But I think I'm getting better, and looking back at these video journals from exactly 1 year ago, exactly 2 years ago, really shows me how far that I've come. I think it's easy when working on something, if you're a very creatively motivated person, to like overwork yourself, ignore your physical and emotional needs, and just dive way too deep into it. You ever like get into a flow state where you just end up working for hours and hours and you don't even realize that you're hungry or whatever? Like you just end up not eating all day because you're like, oh boy, this is fun, and then you forget that like you're a human with needs. It's an excellent spot to be as long as it's like managed, and I feel like over the past few years especially, I've been learning to manage that creative motivation. So I'm taking a lesson from my own struggles 2 years ago today and not pushing myself to put this video out at 1 a.m. tonight or whatever. Instead, I'm going to go to bed and put it out in the morning, because at the end of the day, that's okay. You might be wondering why I'm in a circle. I'm filming on the exact same lens that I filmed the episode 2 years ago today. I'm in a circle, you see? I'm filming on the tiny lens just to switch it up today. It's the Isaacar 16mm C-mount lens, wide open aperture. I guess in my mind, something that I've been having to restructure is that like grit and motivation are like an excellent skill to build, but there's a limit to that. Just because you have the grit to be able to keep going on something doesn't mean that that's the right choice. Just because I can stay up until 2 a.m. and finish this video doesn't mean that that is the right choice. And the other big thing for me especially is recognizing that making that choice to not dive in and finish something immediately, or not push to keep going even when you know you could, is not a failure. I guess in my teenage years, my big arc was like learning to push myself, to motivate myself to go out and actually do things. And now it's like I've taken that to the extreme, and the lesson I have to learn is when not to. It's like this pendulum where like my focus for so long has been swinging the pendulum this way that I didn't know where to stop. And so I've been burning myself out hardcore for the last 2 years. And now I get to look back and recognize that I'm a little better at that now. And I think that shows in the amount of work that I've been able to put out. 2 years ago, over that whole month of October that I was making these daily video journals, I was like working on maybe one project, one video. And now like over the course of this, I've put out how many videos this month? I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that. So clearly I've learned something about when things are good enough and when to stop, instead of my burnout cycle being like I work myself to death on one thing and then take a month off after. Now it's like I can bounce back pretty quickly. So I'm doing good. This is not a burnout video. This is me just reconciling with the fact that making a decision in order to not burn out is not a failure. That's a win. Being able to look back at my old video journals like that is so big for being able to grow and learn things. I think learning to take breaks and learning to chill out sometimes is going to be like the big takeaway, and how I'm going to fix a lot of, or fix is a big word, but improve a lot of the burnout issues. 2 years ago, the October series, the main story arc is like burnout, over ambition, learning how to deal with that. My October series last year, I wasn't dealing with burnout as much. I'd learned some things, but the story arc in that month was in dealing with change, with uncontrollable things, losing my job, being tight on money, having to do a lot of travel, and making my creative ambitions work within all of that uncontrollableness that life gives you. And so this year I'm slightly better equipped to deal with both of those things. I've been thrown some unexpected stuff during this month, and I'm learning to be gracious with myself and realize that's not my fault. None of it's that big of a deal, and learning how not to burn myself out, when to clock out, basically. And I'm excited to look back at this episode on October 14th, 2026 or whatever, and be able to say I've progressed even further. That's all. I know this was probably an extra long one. I've been recording for longer than I usually do, but that's good. That's good. Raw thoughts. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. And some days you just have to wait, keep going, stay on the same track, and that's fine. And that's not the way that I usually live my life, because I feel like instead of waiting for something to happen, I want to make something happen, But I gotta learn to be chill with that and not let ambition burn me out, I guess, even if I don't like it that way. Anyway, that's all. I'm going to bed. I will see you tomorrow.